Oh, my hearties, very good evening to you. It's just me, Scottie McClue, and here we are live on YouTube just for you, Dinky-Doo. Slight technical problem just at the start. I do apologise, but here we are now, and it's fantastic. We have 1 hour of superb, scintillating and information, education, and entertainment. Ah, I like the 3 E's and the 2 E's and the 1 I and the right eye and all that sort of stuff. They were fantastic. I hope you're well and that you've had a good week and that you're ready to do business. Lovely to have you with us. Now, hopefully you got the little video that went out just a few minutes ago, just to let you know that we are live. So there you are, fantastic stuff. So do come and join me. Scottie McClue, hashtag FLOTI, the first lord of the internet. That's the big one, I tell you. I hope you're enjoying the good weather in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland at the moment. Numpty Heed says, hello, Scottie. Dinky-Doo, Professor Numpty Heed. About time you appeared. Marvellous stuff. That's what I say to you. So there we go. You should all have your notifications. Numpty Heed, did you get a notification tonight that McClue was going live? I think we should be told. Very, very important. Now, it's very popular. Last night we popped up, and you'll be able to see that in the videos. I always like to make sure that those of you who have missed it, for whatever reason, that's not a problem with me. Whatever reason you missed any of the lives, we like to make sure that you can catch up with them. So I suppose we've always been ahead of our time. Even your notifications are late. Well, I've no control over that, Professor Numpty. So I think you should take that up with the management, with the big bosses, and say, why was McClue's notification not on time? Somebody was on about that from America last week. I eventually had to just let them go, I'm afraid, because they were starting to cheek up, but they were saying that they hadn't got the notifications. Now, General Sup, for those of you who've just joined us for the first time, we usually have a light refreshment, something to drink with us. That can be anything: water, Adam's ale, perhaps we'd allow tea, coffee, a glass of wine, a small dram, that sort of thing. And we have a general sup. Now, if I'm sipping, you're sipping. All right. Greetings from Bournemouth. Neil O'Gornley, how is Bournemouth today? Is it beautifully, stunningly sunny? I think we need to know. When you come on, guys, if you're new, tell us where you're watching from. That's always very, very important. Thank you very much, Neil. Lovely to hear from you. And I hope that you're keeping well. I know you had a wee bit of health trouble at one point, but it sounded like you'd got it back. Now, when you're watching, guys, down to the bottom left, is that your left? And click the thumbs up. General Sup. Oh, that is just lush. That's what I say, I tell you. So there we are. And we'll hopefully be joined by TALKSHOW tonight. We'll get some calls going. We'll open the phones. The phones will have to change over at one point, I tell you. But there we go. But let's also see who else we've got watching tonight. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Very, very important. Très important. Now, what have I got here? Oh, 15 minutes. So everybody should know about it. They should be coming to join us. Lovely to have you with us tonight, I tell you. And Numpty Heed, I'll be expecting a bit of chaff. Lovely in Bournemouth the past few days. Neil, it's been stunning in Scotland. It's been absolutely out of this world. So there you are, fantastic stuff. So I hope everybody knows. Now, did you also, Numpty Heed, I do trust your judgment. Did you pick up the small video that was issued a few minutes before the show? I think we should be told about that as well. So there we are. Now, what have I got here? Let's see if we can get everything going. on the live. Fantastic. And that'll just let everybody know on all the platforms what's happening, because I think that's what's important. I want to hear how everybody is tonight as well. So there you go. Right, let's get that going. And let's pop up on the other platforms as well so that we know everything's happening and everything's working as it should. I tell you, that arrived 6 minutes after you sent it. Numpty heat. What on earth's going on? A very warm welcome if you've just joined us from the other platforms. Of course, lovely to have you with us. And a big dinky-do, I say to you. So I wonder how that happened, Numpty heat. There we go. Ulix just joined us, dinky-do. And Ian has joined us as well. Come and join us for the whole show. We're only up for about an hour, and as you know, it passes in a flash. I tell you, William has just joined us as well. How lovely to have you with us, William. Thank you very much. And Tony Mac has joined us, dinky-do. Michael's joined us, Gary and Trisha. Wonderful. We're almost full house, guys. We like that. Tremendous stuff, I said to you. Wayne's joined us as well, dinky-do. Hi to D. D just spelt with a D. Thomas has joined us, Daz, Gio, and Richie. Now, guys, let us know where you're watching from. That's always the most important thing. I tell you. It's for Daz. Well, Neil's been very honest. He's watching in Bournemouth. Numpty Heat, I take it you're in Edinburgh. Cheeky Chappie's just joined us and says hi. D for dinky-do, Scotty. Thank you, D. I get it. Grangemouth, says Pablo. Pablo, we send strength to everybody in Grangemouth. Yes, I would not be letting that go, I tell you. So there you are. If I was in the hot seat, then I think Grangemouth would be going from strength to strength. Wishaw, Wishy, Williams and Wishy, Willie from Wishy. Scotty, I'm in Larbert. Great to hear you. BKK, we love Larbert. Thank you very much. Any thoughts on Pakistan? Well, it came into being in 1947 when India was partitioned. I've always wondered if India and Pakistan would like to get back together. Any mileage in that, guys? dinky-do, I tell you this, Del Boy has joined us. Del Boy, welcome, I say to you. Hi, Scotty, says Susan. Susan, lovely to have you with us. Are you still in the hoppy or are you out? That's what we need to know, I say to you. You remind me of my granddad. You're so sweet. Why, you're very, very kind. That is a great honor to be reminded of your granddad. There's no Susan here. No Susans here. We're on multi-platforming at the moment. Any thoughts on the larger ladies in leggings? Well, Bick, you don't see them nowadays. You don't see the leggings, I say to you. Very, very strange. So there we go. Beryl's joined us. Tell Susan I said hi. I will, big man. She's not been terribly well, so she'll be delighted to hear from you. Thank you for my lovely, lovely gift of badges there. Where did you buy that hat? This is a very, very famous hat. This is a Hogs of Fife. Yes, indeed. Scotty, is it possible to acquire a dinky-do badge? Well, I've really only got about 1 or 2 left. They've all disappeared. But what we'll do if we get 1 million followers and 1 million subscribers on the YouTube channel, then I think we can start the merch. That's the thing. Susan says she's home now. Brilliant, Susan. I hope you're feeling a bit better, I tell you. Always a true word spoken, Calvin. Absolutely. Have you seen the reaction to last night's video on Donald Trump? Oh, people, I said, Trump has got it right, and everybody's been watching. I've got one for the Scott FM days. Ooh, that's going back a bit, I tell you. Haha, I'll tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10. Doody. Trump, what a guy. Dinky-do, Scottie McClue, says Ross. A wee dram for Donald. Well, Donald doesn't drink, and neither does Scottie McClue. Very, very interesting, I say to you. Greetings again, Sir Scottie of Scotland. Absolutely fusion do, Scottie. JD, faz Yulun, faz happening in Aberdeen. I tell you, we're just chaffing away here. Is the phone open? Oh, Rab, the phone is open for you. I will open it up. I have to watch I don't knock over my water and my tea. I've got tea for the general sup. What happens here, guys, if I'm having a sup, you can have a sup. All right, so there we are. So we'll open the phone and we might even take a call. Hi from Texas. Xander says, what's happening, Captain? Good evening, Scottie. I hope you're well, pal. Corey, thank you for that. Now, Ibo or Lelbo, there's no point in you being on here. You are far, far, far out of your depth. So we'll say cheerio to you. All right, too puerile for this platform. There he goes. We've said cheerio to him. He'll never be back. Guys, don't be too silly when you come on and don't waste your opportunity of being on the world's top talk show. So there, Scottie, who was asking for me? It was somebody else on one of the other platforms had said there's no Susan here. And I said, no, Susan's on the other platform. So they were just asking for you. They want you to be well. Greetings from Samoa. Lachlan, how lovely. I tell you. Dinky-Doo. Hi from Swansea. Thank you, Laurie. I tell you, Scottie, I'm looking to get a call to talk about Reform UK. Sonny, we wouldn't talk about a political party on here, because we're apolitical as a show. I mean, sometimes it's difficult to avoid it. There's Elise. Hope you're feeling better, Susan says. Elise, how lovely. Elise is asking for you, Susan. Sell Trump the Falklands, says John Doe. No, the Falklands are ours. We went and fought for them, so you don't hand them away. We could maybe, mind you, we could maybe sell Trump Scotland, because I like his ideas and they would go down very well in Scotland. And he's already got business interests in Scotland. So say we went to, 100 times earnings. So that would be 88 billion times 100. Because it's a great business as Scotland. I mean, that's what keeps the UK going. So I tell you. Plus, apparently there was a guy on from Reform saying they wouldn't support Scottish independence. And I thought, well, from Scotland's point of view, there's no dice there, really, is there? Was I right on the live there? I was waiting, says Amy. Yes, you're absolutely right, Amy. Indeed, marvellous to have you on, I say to you. Good news from Susan for Elise there. Fantastic. Yes, I did, Harry, absolutely. Scottie. This is great. Some more. Hello from Arkansas. We love Arkansas in the US of A. Scottie McClue is huge in America. I tell you. Is it Susan Boyle? No, it's another Susan. Greetings from Finland. Henry's on with the Finns. How lovely is that? Anyone got the number? The number is 0141 628 9795. If anybody wanted to call in, I tell you what's happening here. We're very, very busy tonight, guys. Exceptionally busy. Oh, my goodness me. So there, did you get that? 0141 628 9795. Who's the handsome fellow behind you? Corey, that's Lord Reith the Labrador. And you could not get a more handsome Labrador. Scottie, what do we think of Trump? We adore the man. Absolutely adore the man. And what I said, I mean, you'll see the video up on the TikTok. Have a look at my newest videos and share them, guys. Get watching, get following. There's no excuses for anybody to never follow or subscribe to Scottie McClue. Arkansas. John Doe, we love you in Arkansas. How amazing's that? Now then, what else is happening? It's my Uncle Dan's 60th birthday. Can we get a happy birthday for him? Some chat. Dan's 60th. Of course we can. Who sent me a lovely join my team? That's what it's about. Scottie, please say hello to Kate. She is a true Trump supporter. Great show tonight. Elise, thank you very much. Yes, hello to Kate. Yes, she's a great Trump supporter and I believe a Scottie McClue fan. Dinky-Doo, Sir Scottie McClue. Shane, I thank you, Dinky-Doo, to you. We love Uncle Dan's 60th. Can you say Derby Day? Yes, Derby Day. Wes has just joined us. Wes is sending a St. George's flag. Wonderful. Proud of the Falklands, Scottie. Very proud of the Falklands. They're very, very brave people down in the South Atlantic. If you go on to Scottie McClue's YouTube channel, those of you who are already on it, pop into the search, little magnifying glass, Scottie McClue talks to the Falklands. It was a winter's day here, and it was summer in the South Atlantic, and it was St. Andrew's Day. And I was very privileged to address everybody in the Falklands on St. Andrew's Day. Wonderful, I tell you. Mind slow it down for the hard of thinking. Oh, big. There's not many hard of thinking on. Pardon me, we tend to send the wee trolls doon the Swanee. Like we had to send one doon the Swanee who was trying to be a little bit silly. I thought you went political. Well, no, we're not political. We're economic. You know, but obviously you can't avoid mentioning world news. So there you are, but not political. Otherwise, I would be a politician. I get invited every week. Hello, mate. How are you, Robbie? How lovely to hear from you, and a big dinky-doo from Scottie McClue. Now then, do the statues of the Kelpies in the Falklands too? Do they have statues of the Kelpies? I don't know. I've not been to the Falklands, but I have been invited. So there we are. I can tell you. Hello, mate. Dinky-doo. Lovely to have you with us. Now, what else have we got? Yes, absolutely, Pablo. I know what you mean. Yes, indeed. They're talking about Reform UK. Well, as I say, we wouldn't discuss a political party on here. Danny Bell, 91, says, can you tell Anna I'm so proud of her for being a fantastic woman? Well, can I say, Danny Bell, I think we're all very proud of Anna for being a fantastic woman, because we like fantastic women. I think John Doe was describing the pronunciation of Arkansas. How should I pronounce it, Neil? You can advise me, or John Doe can advise us, because he's from there. Now, wonderful stuff. If you just joined us, make sure you are following and subscribing. Hey, y'all, from Alabama, Life with Irish Setters. You all have a nice day now in Alabama. I think I'll come to Alabama. I could do with a slower pace of life. I think so. Dinky-Doo says Rottle Lover says Dinky-Doo. Dinky-Doo Rottle Lover. 2 capital D's. Guys, down to the bottom and give us a thumbs up. I tell you, hey, y'all, Dinky-Doo. Hi from Gettysburg in Pennsylvania, USA. Yes, indeed, called after William Penn. And you had the richest man in the world, a Scotsman, Andrew Carnegie in Pennsylvania. Are you doing the Gettysburg Address? Evening from Annan, Scottie. Paul, Dinky-Doo, we love you in Annan. What a fine part of the world. Annan! Yes, One of my dearest, closest friends is from Annan. He lives in America now, in New York. He was in Washington for about 30, well, I don't know, 35 years or something, I think. He was in Washington. And then 33 years, maybe 32 years. And then he's just moved to New York. And he is Alan Brown Voices, the voice of America. Yes, a beautiful, beautiful voice. So if you ever get a chance to look up Alan Brown Voices, I strongly suggest you do. And he was originally an Annan man, I tell you. So who have we got here? Is that right, Daza? Well, I never knew that. My granny used to say that when folk asked her for money. Who do you think I am? Carnegie. Yes, but you know, like so many of us in the world, Carnegie had to make his way. And as a wee boy, he took a shortcut to school through the garden of a big house. And the gardener, I think it was, got a hold of him and said, "You can't come in here. This is private. If I see you here again," all that kind of stuff. Now, what's interesting is when Carnegie became the richest man in the world, he retired to Skibo Castle, yes, up in the northeast, Skibo, and he retired there, very famous castle. That was his home. He decided, and I think there's a lot of elites could take a leaf out his book. He decided to give away his fortune, and he gave it to public libraries, and he bought that house and garden in Dunfermline and gifted the estate, Pit and Creef, to the people of Dunfermline. Isn't that lovely? And is it not known as Carnegie Gardens or something? Ramey's sent me all these beautiful gifts. There's Loch Fyne. How's it going tonight, Scotty boy? All the best from Tarbert Loch Fyne. Mon the Dukers. See, you've even got me talking as like a Tarbertman. Ah, no. I remember my father, who was born and brought up in Tarbert, and he was talking to one of the Tarbert worthies at a funeral. And he said, "Do you go to many funerals?" Ah, aye, it passes the time. What are you talking about? Jack Delaney, if you listened, you would understand. You've got to listen properly to Scottie McClue. Yes, I tell you. He's built over 2,000 libraries. I wonder how many have councils tried to close. You know, I had a lovely friend who was a terrific lady. And hang on a second. Let's just see what's going on here. Hello, live Scottish phone in. Who's that?
Yeah, hello. Can I speak to Mark Foster?
He's not here at the moment. Can I take a message? There we are. Yes, indeed. Alice says my mother loved him. Hang on. Hello, live Scottish phone in. Who's that?
No, it's Mark Foster. I'm not looking for Mark Foster.
Oh, you're not looking for Mark. Oh, it's Marcus.
It's Mark Foster.
Oh, yes. And yes, sorry, I beg your pardon. I thought you were looking for him.
No, my name's Mark Foster.
Lovely. Thank you, Mark. What can I do for you?
Well, can I get advice?
Advice?
Yeah, well, I keep spending gambling, and I'm thinking about moving to Scotland.
Yes.
Stop there.
Yes.
Is that wise?
Where are you at the moment?
I'm down in Shrewsbury.
Very nice part of the world, the old Shrewsbury there, yes. You're not far from Iron Bridge.
I keep going in the betting shops and I keep spending my money.
You like spending your money in the betting shop? Oh, I think you'd be very popular in Scotland. But I would rather you didn't spend all your money on betting, because you're never going to really win it back unless you were very lucky.
Well, I mean, can you give me a shout out tonight? Can you shout out to Mark Foster?
Mark Foster is a top man. How's that? There we go. That's our Mark. Now, tell your followers if you can. Dinky-Doo, everybody. Right, now, what have I got here? I was just about to read something there from Elise. Let me see what's happening. Yes, Scottie, today would have been my beautiful mother's 91st birthday. She's deeply missed. A very special lady. There we are. And she was a big fan of Andrew Carnegie. My mother loved him and she loved libraries. Yes, I think really the fantastic thing, see, Thomas Telford, one of our greatest designers of the canals and all that kind of stuff, Thomas Telford, he was a Scotsman from the Borders, I think it was. And there was a lady who had a grand house with a library, and she let Thomas Telford use her library. I tell you, that's so we send love to your mother, Elise. She sounds like a very beautiful lady, and a happy heavenly birthday to her. There we go. There's Ollie. Alba or SNP? Well, I think if you're going down these parties, you want to say which one could deliver independence the quickest. That's what the Scots are up to. And I was watching one of the Tories the other day in Scotland. He'd got his figures a bit mixed up, and he wasn't realizing that Scotland economically could do very, very well on its own. And I think the other parties should back independence. Do you know that if Labour had backed Scottish independence in 2014, just done a runner from the London party, they would probably have been in power. You know, so I think political parties have to decide, do we want power or are we just on the sidelines making a nuisance of ourselves? That's what they need to know. Susan says, Scottie, it was my knee. I had an operation on it again. Aha! Right, Susan. That's actually, believe it or not, quite good news from my point of view. I don't know what it is from yours, but, you know, it sounds like something that could get sorted, I tell you. Scotland's first homegrown billionaire. Tom Hunter is a generous man with his money too. Scotland's first homegrown billionaire. Absolutely, Amy. Yes, indeed. Hello, Scottie. All these, I mean, I have very little time for a lot of the billionaires who don't give to good causes. You know what I mean? Hello, Scottie. Long time no see you. Jamie, don't you leave it so long next time. Very, very important. Now, who else have we got here? Mate, I cannot believe you're kicking about. Oh, I'll tell you. Absolutely, your mom. That's his handle, by the way. Yes, indeed. We're kicking about. We're almost halfway through life, I think. Good evening to you, Scottie. Dinky-Doo, Kit me. Hello and Dinky-Doo. Scottie, who was this is Robert. Robert Strimger. Now, Robert is a very academic man, and he loves to ask questions of McClue, hoping I would suspect to catch me out. And he has done on occasion. Let's own up. There we are, I tell you. So Robert says, Scottie, who was the only king of Great Britain crowned in Scotland? It wasn't James VI of Scotland and first of England. So who was the first king of Great Britain? So you're talking post 1603 then. And it wasn't James VI. So the only king of Great Britain crowned in Scotland. Was it by any chance George IV? Right? I'm just checking on that one. There's the wonderful Melinda Lemon. Melinda, love you dearly, sir. You are very kind. May I reciprocate, Melinda? Yes, indeed. You sound like a very, very lovely person. and a very beautiful person, inside and out. I tell you. Uh, where stops we're here tonight, says Susan. Oh, Melinda, you had asked for a picture of my father, and I think you saw it one day, but I've got one here. This is my dear father, a very handsome chap, I think you'll agree, and that's him playing the bagpipes. That's big Archie. Look at the fingers, Melinda. He had such graceful fingers, and he had such grace as a man. You know, absolutely wonderful. You know, and the things he would say, and I can remember asking him, he was an engineer, a very brilliant man. And I remember asking him, I had some windows I'd had fitted to an apartment, and I said, tell me, Dad, these windows, how long do you think they'll last? And he went like this, long enough. Good evening to you, Scottie. Good evening. There's Sparky. Hello, Dinky-Doo, Dinky-Doo, Sparky. So there we are. Elise is asking, Melinda, where are you in the US? Wow. Robert says, no, George IV visited Edinburgh in 1822. The one Sir Walter Scott organised, but it wasn't George IV. Do you want a clue? No, no, no. We need to keep thinking. So it wasn't George V, and it wasn't George VI, and it certainly wasn't Queen Elizabeth. So George III, no. George II, one of the Georges. I tell you, well, you see, you're onto the Hanoverian line then. So go on, give me a slight clue, but not too much. I don't want you to hand it away. So, guys, the question we're asking tonight, the wonderful Robert Scrimger, Scottie, who was the only king of Great Britain crowned in Scotland? It wasn't James VI of Scotland and the first of England. So there we are. I tell you. Now, who have we got here? Dinky-Doo. Oh, I used to listen to you on Hallam FM. You were hilarious. Here for Food 83. I adored Hallam FM and the good burgers of South Yorkshire. Yes. Yes, Sheffield, Chesterfield, Doncaster, Barnsley. It went much, much further than that, as you know. Hallam was big listening. See, when you put Scottie McClue on a radio station, you find out where your corners are. Now, what I mean by that, you find out how far your radio actually goes. Like we had people listening to Red Rose Gold in Preston in Edinburgh. And you used to have a wonderful thing called a medium wave aerial. It was just like a huge coil of wire on a wood thing, and you put it close to your wireless, and boom, the signal just went up. So there we are. Now, who have we got? Oh, yes, Melinda, where are you in the US? Says Elise, talking to the lovely Melinda. How fantastic. Sparky sent a rose. Dinky-Doo, Sparky. Thoughts on Trump? Henry, have a look at my TikTok videos and YouTube videos. I posted one today. Trump has got it right. And he has. He knows what he's doing. You've got to give the man credibility because he has overcome all difficulties. You know, I mean, really very difficult. And that was written about him, Scottie, and his father was very fond of a particular breed of dog. Right, so hold on. Well, a particular breed of dog would be the corgi, wouldn't it? I tell you. That was written about him, and his father was very fond of a breed of dog. Yeah, Melinda's right on the Gulf of America at the mouth of Pascagoula River, the Mississippi. Sounds absolutely fabulous, Melinda. Dinky-doo, I tell you. And thank you so much for your kindness and for your support and for your love. You know, I tell you. So love the photo, Scotty. Do you like that one, Melinda? That's him. And you saw my mother. I know. There we are. That's my mother. That's her. That's Christabel. I tell you, she was a lovely, lovely person. There you are. The only problem with my mother is she didn't put up with any nonsense from me. So that was a bit harsh, wasn't it? He was a Stuart, and he was the first king after the Restoration. So you should get it from now. So we're talking Charles II, and we're talking a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. Woo! There we go. What was I thinking? An example for us all, says Melinda. Oh, Melinda. Yes, I don't think you're one that has to worry about beauty. I can tell you that right now. So there we go. I look at your tiny little photo there. I see one very beautiful lady. Incredible. So there we go. All right, Scotty, how are you doing? Loving the tariffs, Scotty. Well, no, you see, I'll tell you what I would do. Rather than go fighting Donald Trump, criticizing him, not backing him, media people barking away like junkyard dogs, trying to do the man down, all that rubbish, which leads to nothing. Why doesn't everyone support him, watch, listen, and then, take a leaf out of his book? You see, so if I was running, say, the United Kingdom or any country, I wouldn't have knee-jerk reacted at all to the tariffs. I would have said, right, well, let's have a think here about whether we are going to also impose tariffs and make some money, or if what else we're going to do that Big Donald's got, because remember, he's been planning this for a long time. So I would say just observing Donald Trump at the moment, moi, ici, right? Observing Donald Trump, what I'm seeing is a man putting into action stuff that is already highly and well thought out. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. And I think he's just putting it into action, whereas, other countries are making up policy on the hoof and then changing their mind as soon as well, maybe that wasn't a good idea. And we told a few whoppers. Trump's telling the truth. And when everyone asks him, he even has a press briefing. Now, can you imagine every world leader having a press briefing every day? And he hands it over to his very able press secretary, and she's there getting everybody briefed. And we need to see politics in action. We're paying for them handsomely. I tell you. You are like your dad, Scotty, says Susan. Well, do you know, Susan, I hope this doesn't sound too big on it, but a lovely friend sculpted a head of me. Now, when it arrived, it was very like my father, and he had never ever seen or met my father. Very, very interesting. So there you go. I tell you. Dinky-Doo, do you still say stick your tongue out and say ta-ta? I do, Tam. Usually at the end of every broadcast. We say, right, stick out your tongue and say ta-ta. Da-da. Now, who have we got here? Telford, born in Eskdale. Wow. Now, if I can say one thing about Eskdale, it's a wee bit wet, but I do love it. and I love the Esk. Are you familiar with Cannon Bay at the bend? Pardon me, on the River Esk. Time for a sup, general sup, everybody. The boss, the boss. Cheers, the boss. Oh, fantastic. Yes, Scotty, absolutely, says Elise. The Ettrick Shepherd. Elise, absolutely. James Hogg. The Ettrick Shepherd's Tales. I have them in my library. Cheers all. Melinda, Dinky-Doo, my darling. I hope you're not dashing off, but if you do have to dash off, then we quite understand. But thank you for coming and joining us and adding even more glamour to the live. That's what it's all about. Oh, Telford was born in Estill. Sorry, Glenn, I'm so sorry. I thought, yes, Estill, that's right. So he went to the ladies' library. Sorry, I thought you were living in Telford, but you were born in Eskdale. Thomas Telford. Another one for you, Scotty. Which castle and estate is the most northerly one in Scotland or the UK? I would think you're probably talking about the most northerly castle. So Dunrobin is quite far north, the Sutherland's house, and one further north than that would be now wait till I see. I'm thinking, yes. I'm not playing for time. I'm actually thinking. I would think the Castle of May in Caithness. Yes? Do you see how I pronounce that, guys? It's not Caithness and it's not Caithness. It's Caithness. A balance there. You mentioned Skibo Castle earlier. Was that the one in Scotland where Madonna got married? Yes, Amy, absolutely. Dunrobin, well done, sir, the Sutherlands. Well, no, Robert, you've got one further north. You see, you've got the Queen Mother's Castle of May, which used to be known as something else. She restored the original title. Oh, Jack, what a lovely thing. What a marvelous place. You're a lucky boy, I tell you. And I was very lucky to have come to see you all, I tell you. Now, what have we got? King William of Orange, says Glenn. No, Glenn. King William of Orange was actually a baddie. I'm saying to the Orange Lodge, look at his background and take him off your banners. Yes, indeed. Andrew Carnegie said, a man who dies wealthy is a man that dies disgraced. Andrew Carnegie. Haggis Hunter, that's a lovely thing. A man who dies wealthy is a man that dies disgraced. Now, by wealthy, we just mean with a lot of money. Because, I'm probably one of the wealthiest men in the world. Just because of the people I know and the things I've been privileged to have done. Right. I didn't know that used to be Andrew Carnegie's. Yes. I think he would have built it probably. Skibo Castle, because I think it's a Victorian house, if I've got that right. The best scheme, says Jamie. Absolutely. Now, so what we love about Andrew Carnegie and Thomas Telford, they came from very humble Scottish backgrounds, semi-rural backgrounds. And, Telford, a rural background. And they made it very, very big, incredible, very big. And that is the Scots for you. There's so many stories about Scots that have really, really made it big. William McKinnon from Campbelltown, British India shipping, and also huge in the colonial service. I think he was responsible for most of British East Africa at the time, high Victorians. So who else do we have? Allen's shipping. you know, from Dunoon, running ships to Canada, all the wonderful shipping people. And I was fortunate to have known a lot of them, you know. Like there's a company in Scotland, you may have heard of it recently. They've just built a beautiful ferry and, well, two beautiful ferries. And I actually knew the original owners of the yard very well. I tell you, Thomas Telford has the bridge at Craigallachie over the Spey. Is that a Telford bridge? He designed that one. Alexander Fleming, John Logie Baird, Charles Rennie Mackintosh, or Amy. We can go on. Macadam, the Rhodes, Paraffin Young, James Paraffin Young, Robert Watson Watt for the radar. Who else have we got? Who did you mention there? Yes, Alexander Fleming. I also had a dear old friend of mine who I worked very closely with. And he was a very, very funny man, very clever. And he actually said, could you imagine if Alexander Fleming had gone on holiday, left the little remnants in the petri dish, and come back and the cleaner had washed everything up? He said, oh, Mr. Fleming, I just took a wee bit of muck off your petri dishes there. So what we're needing, you see, what that is, Haggis Hunter, if you go to the Bible, you will come across the text. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And that is what you're saying. A man who dies wealthy is a man that dies disgraced. And I think a lot of the billionaires need to be taking account of that and delivering their money back. They don't need all that greed. You know what I mean? And they're going to have a terrible death. You know, should we stop sending scrap to India? Well, it depends what we can do with it here, John Doe. You know, it's like when you're giving something away, you think, oh, I'm going to throw this out. You say, why are you throwing it out? That's a lovely old thing. Let's clean it up and use it. And there we are. And yet, says Melinda, yes, with God, all things are possible. Melinda, I cannot believe you. You and I think, are psychic, my lady. I tell you. Or as a friend of mine says, septic. We must be septic, Scotty. Alexander Graham Bell, his legacy has been challenged. People claim it was an Italian guy who invented the telephone. Now, I'll tell you, Amy, how the telephone was actually invented. Alexander Graham Bell taught at my old school. And I went to the original school that was opened in 1855. And I remember seeing the classroom he taught in before he went to America. Now, Alexander Graham Bell had a daughter who was, she was audio challenged. Yes, she was deaf, as we used to say. So there we are. And he wanted to invent something that would help her to hear. And that was when I think he came up with what's effectively the carbon microphone. Yes, used to see them when I went to a church on a Sunday as a young person. I was a chorister. I was singing choirs at 7, and a wee high voice. Hallelujah. Yes, I can still do that one. Anyway, they had a sort of hearing set up for people whose hearing was impaired. And it was the old carbon microphones, effectively. Hence the reason a listening device can also act as a microphone. Remember that. Vibration. Robert Scrimgeour says, just briefly on the tariffs, should we not be looking to do more deals with the BRICS countries? China and India, 2 examples. America has a monopoly on everything. Why is oil done to the dollar? Well, I think that's why the BRICS were actually getting themselves together. But I also think you want to have a good, healthy relationship with America and with Mr. Trump in particular. So you may have not liked the previous incumbent, you may have not liked several of the previous incumbents, but we must respect the office of the President of the United States. And at the moment, they've got a cracker in there. I mean, a real top man, somebody that understands business, somebody that understands people, somebody that understands economics, somebody that understands the creation of wealth. I mean, we could do with that in every country. Why do folk think he ripped off the Italian man? Who was that? Who are we talking about here? Yeah, I don't know what's going on here now. So Alexander Graham Bell, a Scotsman, wonderful stuff. The telephone. What else have we got? So many things, guys. So many things. James Watt from Greenock. Now, I said just in my Port Glasgow, my little documentary there, I said about James Watt, he invented the steam engine. Now, I know he didn't actually invent the steam engine per se. That was Newcomen. Newcomen was before him. But what Watt did invent was the condenser. So once you've got the condensers, literally, you have hot steam hitting a cold surface, and it becomes water again. So you're resupplying the water. There we are. No permanent jobs now. Jerry, there are permanent jobs if you, or you can keep doing the same thing. I got told, I mean, I've had to date a professional media career of over 40 years. And I was talking to the manager of a big media company, and he said, I don't know how you do it, Scottie. And I said, is that not what you should have as a media career? So, oh, no, some people, a year, 5 years, 8 years used to be the maximum you could have a media career for. And I thought, well, interesting. I mean, although I'm getting a little bit thin on top, quick flash, whoa, that's enough of that. I suppose I could stick a scone in my head and ask one of the news editors if I could read the television news again just once more. A bit like Douglas Bader, at the end of the war, wanting to fly a Spitfire. And Lady Bader said to him, Douglas, darling, have you not had enough? I tell you, I don't know if it was Lady Bader at the time. So there we are. The Queen wrote a song about Alexander Graham Bell. Oh, she was a very talented lady, the Queen, I tell you. Oh, Queen, sorry, the pop group, I tell you. Why go to university, says Jerry. Well, Jerry, you don't need to go to university. I went to university because everywhere I turned, when I wanted to do things, people said, well, you see, you'd need to have a such and such for that. And I said, what about this job? Oh, you'd need to have. And I thought, well, let's get that then. So that was what was going on, I tell you. Now, how are we doing here, guys? Scottie, any tattoos? I don't have tattoos. I'm not a great man for interfering with God's gift. Do you see what I mean? I'm not getting at people with tattoos. It used to be if you had tattoos, you might be a wee bit on the dodgy side. And I remember putting up, would you trust somebody with a tattoo? And people were going berserk. Of course, I've got a tattoo. All that sort of stuff. So, but no, I'm not really a great tattoo person. I don't really go in for that. Like, I don't really agree with body enhancement and stuff like that. I think you press on with what you've got. Well, no one's job's permanent in the end. Any company could go under. I've been in the same job over 10 years, and a couple of times there's been redundancies. Amy, there's always the sword of Damocles. You know, there's always that. Susan's off. She says, good night, Scottie and everyone. In fact, we'll soon all be off. Although I was a couple of minutes late joining tonight. And a wee technical problem as you get sometimes. No need to get permanent to get a mortgage, Scott. Oh, you need to get permanent to get a mortgage. Yes, well, I mean, Jerry, I was working every single day of my life. And I can remember asking the mortgage company if they could advance me a little bit more because I wanted to do my windows in the house. And they went, well, you're actually on a 0 hours contract. And I said, well, it's some 0 hours contract that, 365 days a year. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Good night to Kate. I'm so looking forward to spending time with you. Big love from Elise. So there you are. And Susan says, thanks, Elise. I don't see the tariffs directly affecting Scotland. We're not exactly in control of trade, but that's opening up another can of independence worms. Most of our whiskey goes to the Far East, not the USA. Guys, we are almost... No, we're all right. We've got a little bit of time, so that's not so bad. I'll be watching the boxing when Scottie's live is over. There we are. Joe Joyce versus Zirgovic. If anyone's interested, Amy, you're a man for the boxing. There we are. The Marquis of Queensberry rules. I tell you. So there we are. Thank you to all you beautiful people. It's been fantastic tonight. It really has. Sheffield Wednesday FC says hi. Dinky-Doo Wednesday. Well, somebody said to me, how are you placed time-wise to manage a football team in Yorkshire? I said, well, I can't do Wednesday. No, look, you don't understand, Scottie. It's different. If you'd been working all year in a position and then someone steps in. Oh, I see what you mean, Jerry. Yes, I understand. There's always somebody after your job. As I remember a broker, I think it was, or a top financier on the radio in the morning. And somebody said, is there a risk that you could be taken over? He said, well, there's always somebody looking to eat your lunch. I love that. Scottie, Ken Buchanan, fine Scottish boxer. Yes, Ken Buchanan, great man. James Watt, another great man as well. Yes, Cat knows, says Jerry. Aha. Jerry, send my very best to Cat. Fantastic. And to your dear self as well. Right, we're out of time, folks. I'm going to have to go. That doesn't mean I don't love you. So there we go. Okay. I'll sing you the goodbye song. Are you ready? Join in. After two. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Take care, everybody, as you go. Goodbye, everybody. Avita Zane. Au revoir. And cheerio. It's been so beautiful tonight, guys. It's King William III crowned with Queen Mary. Yes, absolutely. I think she was his cousin, and she was the daughter of James II, who King William was fighting. Good night, everyone, says the beautiful Elise. Good night to Jerry. Good night to the beautiful Melinda in Missouri in the USA. And thank you for a wonderful show tonight. Stick out your tongues and say ta-ta. Ta-ta. Wonderful stuff. Very generous of you, says Melinda. You make my day. Prayers for the souls of your parents. And God bless you, dear man. And God bless you. And may he hold you in the palm of his hand, Melinda. How lovely to have you with us tonight. Elise, good night. Good night to Kate. Ta-ta, says Jerry. Yes, indeed. Here we go. You'll get 2 goes at this. Right, are we ready? Ta-ta. One more. Ta-ta.